officers for Mr. Floyd's life, he said to that dog whistle that he said to Mr. Williams, don't use drugs. Completely irrelevant. It wasn't necessary. And it's as if anything that happened to Mr. Floyd is warranted because he's a drug user. Absolutely not. And as the statement from Mr. Floyd's personal attorney is, people struggle with drugs every day. It happens in everyone's family. Doesn't mean that he deserved to have a knee in his neck for over 9 minutes. A minute of which he was pulseless, breathless, a majority of that time where he's pleading for his life. So really that second part, that testimony is going to be a litmus test for our jury and really the sense of this country. Can the jury see past Mr. Floyd's drug use and look at what happened in those 9 minutes, right? This trial will answer that question, that crucial question for race and equity in this country.
And they went. Sorry, Kristen, I thought you were done. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the details of what they went into, because they talked a lot about timeline here, about this overdose that they had Courtney Ross detail for us that he was in the hospital for a few days. She rushed him to the hospital, and one of the key details that came out of there was that she said that he had some foam on his mouth as she was taking him to the hospital. And you can already see where the defense is going with that, because we heard the bystanders, and we could see in the video that we heard the bystanders talking about how George Floyd had foam on his mouth as he was there underneath the police officers on that day that he died. So you're going to see the defense pull that out and try to make the connection that, see more evidence that he died of an overdose. That plus then the timeline of her saying that while she believes he was clean from roughly that overdose experience until May, she thinks about 2 weeks before the day that he died, that he did start using again. And not only did she talk about how they bought drugs from Maurice Hall and Shawanda Hill, two people who were in the car with Floyd that day, she talks about how she thought that he had purchased drugs from Maurice just the week before he died. And again, the fact that they are in the car with him that day, how does all of this play into the defense's version of the story that he died of an overdose? And how does the prosecution keep that from being enough to provide reasonable doubt?
I think it's going to come down to a battle of the experts. Certainly all of those facts that Mr. Nelson was able to kind of pull out, he's going to try to match those descriptions with the descriptions that he's probably going to elicit through the testimony of his experts. But the way the prosecution, I think, and this was made clear in Mr. Blackwell's opening remarks, try to point to the fact that, and I think this was also easily brought out through the paramedics' testimony as well. They're going to point to the breathlessness. They're going to point to the fact that he was lying there with no pulse and that he was unresponsive at the time that the paramedic arrived. They're going to talk about those things so that they can try to show that, yes, he may have been under the influence of drugs, but because he was struggling with addiction, he had a tolerance level that allowed for a little bit more, drugs in his system that would not have necessarily resulted in death. And while that was a lot of drugs within his system, it could merely have been a contributing factor. Remember, the prosecution contributing factor of his death, but that the major contributing factor was Mr. Chauvin's knee in his neck, which took away his breath. And that was one of the things we saw from the paramedic. All of the life-saving efforts were utilized to try to regain his oxygen. There was oxygen deprivation, and the modes and methods by which the paramedic utilized it was to try to help him to regain his oxygen, not necessarily overcome any type of drug overdose.
Well, and so when you then go on to the paramedic testimony, there was a lot of detail there. And these testimonies sometimes, they're hard to follow because there's so much detail. And for those of us who are not paramedics, it can be a bit hard to understand. But all of that, why ask them all of these details about how they respond to call and what exactly they did in this moment and the next moment and the next moment? And also showing, as Kenneth mentioned, it's kind of graphic video that we're seeing of every little thing that they do in the ambulance. Why is it so important to take us through all those details?
Well, it's really important to go through those details because the prosecution does.
This is Willman in Toledo, Ohio. I don't know if this is going through and you can hear my voice. I am trying a test run here. It's actually April 1st, 2021, for over 8 months. Various locations. I've been doing a lot of work in multiple fields, trying to keep the good fight going. I'm back at my base now, home base, and I'm taking on some new tasks. What's going on here? I've never seen this light before. Are they watching me right now? I think one of these. I haven't updated these links in a long time. I've just been rummaging through. Okay, that was from Zombie Call. That seems to be nothing. Neither of these are active. So what I have going now, George Floyd. Okay, so today is April 1st. April Fool's Day is all you know, all Fool's Day. Jester's Day. The jokers. The pranksters, the clowns. Now what we have watching here is George Floyd's Day 4 live coverage. And it's actually going through ABC. I'm watching this on a YouTube live stream on ABC's page here. See that? ABC News. Alright. There's a couple hashtags there. So this is all part of the agenda, right? George Floyd was, I'm sure you all know, the one who was brutally abused by a police force, and well, it turns out that they're trying to say that he was high on drugs. He was taking illicit pills. Now this is the EMT guy. Let's tune back in. Let's see if this is.
And what was his condition? You had talked about asystole.
Blood being pumped through the body to your organs.
And if you, well, as someone is being worked on or compressions are being given, can things change in terms of the heart rhythm in your experience as a paramedic?
Yes.
But if you have pulseless electrical activity, what does that mean in terms of the change?
It's, as far as how we're going to be resuscitating him, it's the same as asystole. So
your course of action remain the same.
Yeah, they're asystole and PEA is like the same protocol, I guess you'd call it, for how we resuscitate.
And even though there was, when he first arrived, he was in asystole. At some point later, there was PEA. At any point, did he regenerate a pulse or come to? Was he revived?
No.
So, Kristen, it seems again that the major point being that he was never revived, his condition never improved from the moment they picked him up when they believed he was in cardiac arrest until hospital. But also, the key moment I thought came out when he also talked about the delay in chest compressions and how that can affect the outcome of a patient, essentially saying that once someone loses a pulse, if you don't start compressions quickly after, that can be very bad patient. How much can that come into play? You know, especially with the debate over cause of death, can the prosecution make the argument that regardless of cause of death, the fact that George Floyd did not have a pulse and they either didn't check it, the police, or if they checked it and noticed he didn't have a pulse, they still didn't do chest compressions, even though we know at least 2 of the officers on the scene knew how to, that is another way that they could have caused his death?
Certainly for some of the charges, the 2 lesser charges, the 3rd-degree murder as well as the 2nd-degree manslaughter. Because keep in mind that that at least from the testimony that we've heard so far, he was lying there unresponsive and likely pulseless for at least a minute while Chauvin's knee was still on his neck. So at that point, is there an unreasonable excessive use of force, right? For someone who is no longer posing a threat, someone who is lying there unresponsive, someone who was lying there pulseless, breathless, no longer able to cry for help? Was he any longer using a threat such that that level of right? So can you argue that that was a substantial cause or factor of his death? I think that it could also be used in an argument for the second-degree murder as well, because at that point you can show the intent to commit that aggravated assault, which would have caused the death. So I think that the prosecution can most absolutely use it to try to make out their burden on all three of these charges, but most importantly, the third-degree murder and the second-degree manslaughter charges.
And then I wanted to just quickly ask you about the central point that it seemed the defense tried to get out of this witness, the paramedic. You have to describe how police can sometimes be called when the paramedics are called to the scene of an overdose, because overdose patients can sometimes be violent.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think actually there was two things that Nelson tried to point out with the crowd and then the violence was that I think what he said was load and go. That's something that Nelson had mentioned in his opening remarks as well. That load and go to kind of show that the reason the paramedic had to go to a different scene was to try to paint the crowd as unsafe, violent, or angry. But in terms of, trying to point out that the drug use could be violent if he was resuscitated right away, I really think that got thrown out of the window when the prosecutor got up and did her redirect, kind of showing that there was no need to even sedate this man. We needed to get him medical attention right away. And the efforts that they actually did, which was to try to increase the chest compressions, which was to put something in his airways so that they were not obstructed, were what the focus was. And so drug overdose was really not the primary focus of this paramedic. So I thought that it didn't play well for the defense.
All right. Kenneth Moten in Minneapolis, civil rights attorney Kristen Gibbons-Fedden. Thank you both. We are going to continue with our analysis right after this break. When we come back, we'll talk about the impact on this case on policing. We'll be right back.
This is Jennifer. Jennifer just landed her dream job. Want to know how she did it? First, she went to independence.edu. Then she enrolled and began taking classes. Not that type of class. This type of class. Independence University provided Jennifer with a laptop and a tablet so she could attend classes from here. Or here. Or here. Or even here. And not only could Jennifer choose when and where to study, she also had her own IU student success team. So when Jennifer said,
"Hi, I'd like to get a bachelor's degree in business administration with an emphasis in marketing,"
her IU admissions consultant was able to say,
"No problem. Let's make that happen."
So after just 36 months of classes, video chats with faculty, and a few late nights later, Jennifer finds herself here in the job of her dreams.
So what are you waiting for? Visit independence.edu.
This world is one of legend. Many realms, epic sagas, bound by one truth. Viking or Valkyrie, elf or dwarf, all belong to the World Tree. All are gods. Gods who travel between realms to do their bidding, for peace, for bloodshed, or for their own amusement. But what if there was a way to harness this power? A weapon with the ability to protect all. A weapon of pure strength, forged for a god. Or, in more creative hands, a weapon of unimaginable chaos! Who's ready for some fun?
matters most, the straightforward facts. ABC News is America's #1 news. #1 in the morning, #1 in the evening, with America's most watched newscast. #1 in late night versus the competition. The #1 news magazine on Friday nights. #1 in politics across this historic election versus the competition. The #1 daytime talk show. And #1 in streaming news. ABC News is America's #1 news.
The most powerful stories of our time, anytime. Nightline.
Friday nights, 9/8 Central. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues, The Hunt, True Crime, 2020. Friday nights, 9/8 Central on ABC.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
Every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know,
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it? Feel smarter,
feel better.
feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America in the afternoon?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Lunchtime at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific on ABC. It's all about you.
I know what happened, and I'm not guilty.
Why the fascination with criminal trials? Figure out what's really out.
Revealed she had murdered his family.
I know in my heart they did this.
It's the time of suspicion.
The ending's really tough.
You don't know whether truth is going to be difficult to find unless you try to find it.
The reality is our country can collapse from within.
You see the white power movement on the march. Klansmen and neo-Nazis, skinheads, it's meant to incite war.
From the KKK to Oklahoma City to Charlottesville, the new documentary event special.
We just need to start talking about race.
Homegrown hate, the war among us.
This is a real wake-up call.
Streaming now on ABC News.
It's been a challenging year.
Give me a big hug.
Thank you, World News Tonight.
Thank you, David, for showing us the love.
David, we're showing our love and support for all the ICU staff.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Derek Chauvin trial, the former Minneapolis police officer charged in the death of George Floyd. Throughout the course of the 4 days of this trial so far, we have seen quite a bit of video, but none in quite such large quantities as yesterday when we saw back-to-back body cam footage from all of the officers on the scene, including, for the first time, seeing body cam video from Officer Derek Chauvin. It gave us a unique perspective of what happened, particularly in those early encounters with George Floyd. And here's a short snippet of just one of those officers' body cams.
Let me see your hands. Stay in the car. Let me see your other hand.
I'm sorry.
Let me see your other hand.
Please, Both
hands. Put your hands up right now. Let me see your other hand.
What I do though? What do we do?
Put your hand up there. Put your Jesus Christ. Keep your in the wheel. Keep your in the wheel.
I'm sorry, Sergeant.
Who else is in the car? Put your foot back in.
I'm so sorry. God dang, man. Man, I got shot the same way as officers before.
Okay, well, when I say let me see your hands, you put your up.
I'm so sorry, officer.
You got him?
Man, dang, man.
Put your hands on top of your head.
Man,
Hands on top of your head. Hands on top of your head. Step out of the vehicle and step away from me, all right? Step out and face away. Step out and face away.
Okay,
I'm not gonna shoot you. Step out and face away.
I'm gonna get out, man. Please don't shoot me, man.
Don't shoot me, man.
Please, man. I just lost my mom, man.
Taking one out. Step out and face away.
So sorry.
Step out and face away.
Please don't shoot me, Mr. Officer. Please don't shoot me, man.
Step out and face away.
Can you not shoot me, man?
I'm not shooting you. Step out and face away.
Okay. Please, man. Please. I didn't know, man. I didn't know.
Right now.
Stop moving. Put your hand behind your back then. I'm not gonna do nothing. Face in the door. Hey, you come back. Stay in the car. Don't go, I was acting on my knees. Stop resisting, man. I'm not. Yes, you are. I was nothing. Take a seat. Thank you, Mr. Sit down. Thank you, man. God. Sit all the way down. Yes, sir. I will. Please, man. Please, man. You got an ID on you? I got one of them. All right, what's your name? George. George? George Perry Floyd. I don't know what's going on. Man, spell it for me. G-E-O. Yep.
So again, this is body camera footage from Officer Lane, the first initial encounter between George Floyd and the police on May 25th. And this and other body cam video that have come out during the course of this trial are now reigniting conversation around policing in this country and changes that might need to come. Former NYPD detective and professor of law Kirk Burkhalter is here with me now to discuss a little bit more about that. And Kirk, one of the things that I think people are reacting to right away is just how quickly a gun comes out in this case, a case that again started over a counterfeit $20 bill. What's your reaction when you see this video?
Well, you make an excellent point. This case is very much, and it has been from the beginning, about the use of force, the ultimate use of force that was used against George Floyd. But many people forget that simply unholstering your weapon and pointing at someone is absolutely a use of force. After all, the reason for doing that, particularly in this case, is getting someone to comply. And you make an excellent point, a $20 bill, a counterfeit $20 bill. So is this a crime that with the concept of a violent crime? Or is the gun being drawn because of the neighborhood and so forth? And we've heard the, I hate to use that word in such a commentary fashion, but the spin from the defense that this is a dangerous neighborhood and this was a crowd. You know, any group of 10 or 12 people is a crowd and a dangerous mob and so forth. So you have to wonder, does this play into the psyche of policing in that particular community, that any grouping of people are violent, and anytime you approach someone who's violent, you must take your firearm out. However, there is an emotional response and there's an emotional consequence to having a firearm pointed at you. So this is very much going to be an issue, and it is an issue in this country moving forward. And all these body cam videos draw very close attention. They shine a light on this issue, and it shows what people are going through. And that accompanied with not only pointing the firearm, but so forth, going along with that, makes you wonder what exactly was the department trying to achieve in this particular situation.
And as this reignites a conversation about police training, you say we should stop calling it police training and look at it as education. Why is that important?
Absolutely. So training, and you know, I've been a proponent of this, that training is basically teaching someone to react to a specific stimuli. When this occurs, you must do X. When that occurs, you must do Y. Now, let's take a look at this case in particular.
Okay, I'm back. Now, what we just witnessed there was quite a lot of stuff. Well, let's see what they're talking about.
That neighborhood sociology and so forth, rather than simply, when you are investigating this type of crime, this is what you must do. So education, and that's something that we don't see in many police academies across the country. In many jurisdictions, such as here in New York, it takes twice as long to obtain a barber's license than it does to become a police officer. So I would envision that this training now, or this educational phase that moving forward, should be more akin to somewhat like an undergraduate degree.
So they're just trying to stick up for both sides of the situation throughout the conspiracy of this. As you just saw, that video of Mr. Floyd getting taken out of his vehicle and being put into handcuffs was definitely out of hand, and he was fearing for his life the second he had been approached. And it turns out it was all about a $20 counterfeit bill that he probably had just used inside that store. In other news, there is a volcano currently active in Iceland. Here's some footage of it. I don't have my system totally set up yet. Right now you're just viewing my screen here on my computer. Minimize this. So you're viewing this. Oh, shit. So I have another angle of it here. There's 2 live streams on YouTube with this. There might be more, but the 2 that I've noticed right off the bat are these 2. And it's like one angle is just a bit more to the right of the first angle, I believe. You can see that here. And I'm sorry for the oh. See, I feel like this feed might get taken down off YouTube because I'm projecting their own advertisements from other links. I don't know how all that works. Skip that. I just got back to this whole YouTube thing. Okay, see, there's the different angles. Let's see. Let's go back really quick to this one. Alright, you see how the lava is spewing out right here, and there's a bit of a crater right here. You see what I'm talking about? Let's see if we can. Okay, yeah, see, here's that same crater. And here's the lava spewed out on the left. So our other angle, our other camera angle's coming from this area over here. We're viewing it like that. See what I mean? Isn't that cool? It's live lava right there. That's the Earth's beautiful insides gushing out into our reality. There's the molten stream right here. It's traveling down this way. So let's see, what else did I have going on here? Okay, this was Enter the Stars. I was trying to see what he was doing today. I thought he might have an April 1st day video. He might have. I just clicked on his first one and it was about zombies. And he was going to talk about he's going to talk about a bunch of stuff. If you haven't checked out Casey over here at Enter the Stars, he does a lot of great work. He's what got me started on decoding. I mean, I was already decoding myself on a different level, but he showed me the tools I needed to actually move forth with my findings, and that brings me to the topic of my video today. We like to focus on movies, right? And tear them down and messages are. You know, the elite are always putting things right out there in the open, right? 2018. You know what? You can't see my whole. Let me fix that in 1 second, guys. Well, okay. Darn it, how did I do that? One moment, guys. Okay. That should take us back to Red Network. Well, I'm trying to bring this back here. Okay, there we go. You should be totally in the screen now. So, Venom. It was a pretty good movie. Right? You guys remember that? There's another picture. There's another picture. Oh, where did it go? Okay, I'm just gonna do this. Alright, there's the illusion of time, right? Window within a window. Oh, I brought the wrong. Okay, I apologize, guys. Okay, here we go. Bring this one over. Now. This is something I've been working on for you psychedelics out there. This is a meditative. Oh no, I just moved it off balance. Oh, darn. This is a meditative thing I've been working on here. Ah, jeez. Whoa. Alright, I'm changing it. I don't know what happened. I need to. Alright, we're just gonna maximize. Okay, so bear with me, guys. Real quick here. I'm gonna do something here. Whoa, what the hell is that? Again, this was just a test video for today. And I just realized they were doing that George Floyd thing, so I wanted to kind of touch base on that. And it's kind of funny that it's April Fool's Day. It's the 4th trial day. You saw the video. I'm sure I haven't been paying attention to the news. That was just the first video I saw on YouTube that was live, so I thought I'd click on it, right? And you can just see what they're trying to do. I don't know. No. I change this back to that? So yeah, now there's the volcano. You guys check what I was going to show you here. But anyway, so the George Floyd thing, it caused riots all across the way, you know. They destroyed so many things. It was the start, it was the biggest one. You know, it caused a lot of damage in a lot of areas across, and even in the midst of watching the advertisement. No, I think it was a commercial actual thing there, but it was for the white supremacists. There's like an ABC going on there. Like, what are they trying to, you know, what are they trying to entice? Like, there was a lot of movements after the riots. They were peaceful, righteous people, you know. I went to a couple of them in my local town. Live, I wasn't able to at the time. I was dealing hard ways with those issues. I went and found myself down south in the backwoods by the bayou. It was a real experience. I went off. I literally lived in a tent on the bayou. God's work for a while there. God let me know every day that it was going to be okay, and He taught me a few lessons along the way, and I feel great. And I'm back. I took my time through the sands, if you will, like Jesus did. Vibed. And I connected with a lot of people in many ways, from many walks of life. That the fight is happening, guys. So let me see how I can bring you guys back real quick to what I'm looking at. There. I hope you enjoyed that little volcanic eruption there. Again, that was in Iceland, happening right now. Oh, I guess. Oh, okay. I didn't know I could do that. I just found a quick hotkey. So, this is back to Venom. It came out in October of 2018. This is the poster that was. I went and saw it in theaters. I'm a big Venom, Spider-Man fan. You know, who doesn't like Venom? He's a character, a beast from the moon, right? Some kind of goo that one of the characters from the Spider-Man comic series, the pilot, JJ's son. It's kind of a bad picture. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. So I picked up this poster at the theater. They always have, when you go to see a brand new movie on opening night, they always have a printout. It's not a very big poster, but it's bigger than a piece of paper, you know. And this is it. Now, I have it hanging up in my room since 2018, because I went and saw the movie. And I don't know if I did a decode on it directly, but while I was watching the movie, I was looking for things. I found a few things, but this is one of the main things I just noticed. As I was sitting in my room pondering, I looked over at the wall, and I just happened to notice that, on the symmetry thing, these eyes are symmetrical, exact, piece by piece, right? So I was thinking, like, what is this an image of? And then it hit me. It's not an eye. It's an eyelid. Let's do this real quick. Okay, so these guys like to put their little tricks and their little Oh shoot, oh shoot. They're little things out in the middle, right? Let's see if sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. Again, I'm just trying to do this for the first time in a very long time. Okay, this picture is too... It's not... it's too pixely. So I was looking at this picture. Hanging in my room, which I might have to take a high quality photo of it. Let me see sharp. Let me see sharper anymore. It's a little better. So basically, what I'm saying is that this is an image of either an island or a piece of land somewhere. You can see how it's got these little tiny islands here. This is a huge. This would be a huge coastline here. But it's not a very big island. They got a big base. Yeah. I mean, if you look on it on the actual map, it's oh, shoot. I didn't know I could do that. You look on the actual map. I have to figure out how I can overlay this into like a Google search of islands. I'm gonna have to get a better image of it. I have the poster right now, so I'll see if I can get a clearer image. And then I'll see if I can really do some research with this, because I don't know what island this would be, and why would they do that to Venom's face? Why would they put an island and then mirror image it to make his eyes? And what island could that be? I mean, if you look at it in person, you can literally see it looks like a Google Earth island. Just want to do that really quick. Islands. Well, it would help if I spelled it right? I haven't tried this yet, so this is I'm doing this live. You know, this is all part of figuring stuff out. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work there, huh? Let's zoom out. Let's try to zoom out here. By the way, if you were wondering, Iceland is right here. I'm right here. Yeah, I'm just gonna type in islands, and it just takes me back to where I'm at. Okay, so that's that. Let's go back. Islands, bird's eye. So Here's one that we can kind of... Islands form in all different kinds of shapes, right? That's a big computer. Here's one. That's pretty crazy. So I mean, my concept's not far-fetched, you know, like there's some crazy looking islands out there that could where is this? This is Pinterest. Singapore. Okay. Okay. Singapore. Now this is far-fetched, guys. I'm just doing this. Totally just trying to figure some shit out here. Alright, here's Singapore. Make that go away. Now, let's zoom in here in these islands. See if any of them look like they could be an eye of Venom. Or is it the whole? Oh, I think I'm looking at this wrong. Is it this? Is this the whole eye? See how this line? Maybe Singapore is the eye. Right? Let's go set it like that. Let's figure this out. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Maybe there's a surrounding island that we're not seeing. Where is... We are... We're in a very strange part of the world there. Underneath China. It's China's Caribbean. So, could this be Venom's eye? We're gonna have to look farther into Singapore. The year, the month, the day, October 18. When this movie came out, Venom. There's got to be some kind of symmetry. I'm not even saying that that's actually Singapore. That's not. I don't know what island this is, but it looks intriguing. We're gonna have to do some more digging on that. Now let's go over to this image, which was another poster. I didn't see this poster until today when I googled the posters, but I noticed something here. These people are sick, guys. Like, literally sick. And I'm doing this live because it's not me doing it by myself. I just see things for what they are. And this is what I do with Disney movies, and they're everywhere, but this is just wrong, guys. Okay. I'm going to take this, I'm going to show you how they hide things right in plain sight. I'm going to rotate that upside down. Okay, so now let's do this. Some stuff here. Just switch these layers around. Now, I've developed a technique here on how to examine and view things, and then it freaks me out sometimes. Get rid of this crazy face. Already messed up. Get rid of that. Sorry guys, like I said, I'm doing this live. Usually I have things already figured out and done, but I'm running out of time for today. I don't want to lose this theory here before they realize that I noticed it. So again, Venom, the eye thing. Here's a different type of an eye, right? And he's got the moon behind him. It's supposed to be the moon, right? Let's see this. Noticing some lines that you didn't see before now, huh? This is how it happens, guys. You just have to remove certain aspects. And you start seeing other things that were there the whole time. You just couldn't tell. Getting closer, guys. Getting closer. Do you see it yet? Do you see the bruises? the scuffles, the naked body. The hands are in a position where somebody bruised and beat up. These are the victims in the moon that their energy and souls are harvested out of. Shackled to the floor in a dark, cold place. This is their victim, and they're in the eye of the elite, the ones in the moon, the ones that are harvesting the power. I can't make this up, guys. It's here. It's everywhere. Oh, shit. There's too much exposure. You see it? They want your self-conscious to see it. Another thing it could resemble is the body trapped inside of the womb, trying to escape birth. There's a lot of things going on today, guys. We just gotta pay attention. Gotta look out for what's happening. So I got the live stream going up and running. Hope the sound isn't too bad. I'm gonna overview the video and I'm gonna get to the rest of my day. It's been nice. I'm gonna investigate a couple more things. You can go watch the rest of the George Floyd on ABC Family's page, and I'm sure there's another couple YouTubers out there doing it. I said ABC Family, I meant ABC News, sorry. The temperature again, I didn't think I go into the temperature today. That's why I was testing the globals. Let me get these up. Let me see if these are working. I'm going to switch over really quick to the Google Maps. I'm pretty sure these are still live. Unless I just broke it. Oh, that one came back. For some reason I can't. So, the sea seems to be pretty warm down here in the region, but how do I? Let me see something really I'm trying to remember how I set up these globes for interaction purposes. I'm trying to get back to the portal I opened up here. But you can see how the heat of the sea is there. I'm pretty sure this one is the temperature of the sea. Move. No, it's not. Oh. Okay. Guys, I don't even know if I'm live anymore. But what I wanted to show you was the sea temp where that volcano is. Volcano should be right there. I'll leave you with that. Oh, there's my Easter card here. Happy Easter, everybody. I know it's not for a few days, but I know that's a tiny picture to you. It's good old Jesus Christ and the Easter Bunny right there. Well, you guys have a good one. This is Will Man signing off. Thank you for tuning in, and don't worry, I'll be back. I'm back now. Eyes to the sky, and please keep your social distance from all these crazy sheep out there that are out to discredit us and get us.